Hello and welcome to A Gypsy's Kiss. I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Stick with us a couple of seconds and we will talk about the ancient Native Americans. Actually, they're not that ancient.
And they're Pueblos.
1350 to 1650 is the period that we're talking about. I don't know what's going on with that. Why all of a sudden are we getting...
I was asking that and I was like, oh, I guess the mics are on. Everybody be quiet.
Yeah, everybody's... your mic is on, by the way.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey, Davio. Davio's in the room.
All right.
So, hi, Davio.
Hi, Davio. Hey, William. Yo, yo. Yoda. Yo, 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 yo.
So we've been doing like a Christmas sing-along while we were waiting to get the show started.
How's Toby?
I'm doing fine, William. So here was the thing. You didn't catch last week's show.
Do we have to go through that again?
No. I'm going to give you the short version.
Oh,
I wasn't sick.
Do you know how to do that? I
went in for a checkup, and the technology went bad, and they blamed it on me. I don't know. It wasn't me. I was fine. I'm still fine, if you know what I mean. I mean, I'm fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mighty fine.
Mighty fine. Okay, so
Mighty
what we're doing tonight is we're going to share with you our latest video, which is our video on the Petroglyphs National Monument, which we visited over the weekend. And actually, I visited last week for some B-roll. And then Kevin, Shelley, and I went on Sunday to shoot. So, I mean, it was a beautiful day.
Perfect.
Middle of winter, perfect day. Temperatures in the high 50s, low 60s. And when you're up there, it's pretty hot anyway. During the summer, it's actually, you wouldn't go up there in the summer at that same time because you'd cook.
Right.
With all that basalt. There's a lot of basalt.
And it
absorbs a lot of heat.
No shade.
No shade. Oh, Davio's in the room. Where's Davio? Yo, Davio.
Easy
Is Shelley
street.
drunk tonight?
No.
No, she's just in her usual.
I have to drive myself home.
Happy,
I can't drink.
Yeah, because Kevin is off for the month of December. And so there is no going back and forth to work. So Shelley has to drive all the way from Rio Rancho, all the way back. But we're really busy with our Udemy course, so it's almost required. So let me do a couple of things here.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to share our latest video with you. We call it a handcrafted business film is how we like to refer to them. Because
it's a travel vlog.
Yeah, it's a travel vlog.
It's about travel.
Because we travel.
Jaron Muniz. Or is it Harin? Since
well,
it's kind of Hispanic.
It is Muniz, but he doesn't have the tilde over the end. And he's from Colorado, so he's like me.
He's like you?
Yeah, he's a gringo in Hispanic clothing. I don't know.
Like a sheep?
Yeah.
Elba.
Okay, so Karen Warner, new name right there. So hello, guys. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to share our video, and we're going to open it up, the conversation. Did it tangle you up there? Sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to open up afterwards for some questions about petroglyphs and what we learned about it. And I'm going to show you some of the equipment we use because it's amazing. Just good, good
Lots
stuff.
Lots of
fun. Had a good time with it.
Friedman.
And so let us get through the video, and then you can tell us what you think. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
I'm going to turn us off so we're not.
Hello and welcome to A Gypsy's Kiss. I'm Shelley Carney. Today we're at the Petroglyph National Monument located on the West Mesa area of Albuquerque. There's just so much to see. It's about 17 miles wide and it's just full of petroglyphs from the ancient Puebloan people who lived or passed through this area on their travels. There's all sorts of different petroglyphs that we'll be able to see on different hikes. There's several different hikes, and it's just a wonderful, beautiful day here in Albuquerque.
The majority of our petroglyphs were carved by the ancient Pueblo people sometime between 400 and 700 years ago. There's also more recent, what we consider recent petroglyphs that were done by the Spanish that settled in this area starting in the late 1600s, early 1700s. So they were using stone tools. There's some debate on that as well. It could have been one stone that they were pecking, or probably in some cases there was a combination of different techniques, but it might have had a stone and chisel kind of technique as well, and we think they might have needed that for some of the more detailed, elaborate petroglyphs. Contemporary Pueblo people will tell you that they've been around for time immemorial, and there's a lot of debate about the significance. Folks sometimes want to know exactly what they meant, and there's different interpretations of the petroglyphs, but there's no doubt of their power, the connection that you have with these ancient people when you see the petroglyphs.
We're here at Piedras Marcadas, and we're looking for the first petroglyph, which is supposed to be up here around the bend somewhere.
So there's 3 petroglyph viewing sites. Boca Negra Canyon, which is probably the best known, well-known, majority of our visitors go there. It's kind of very accessible. There's a ton of really important petroglyphs there. There's one site just south of the visitor center here, which is called Rinconada Canyon, and that's a really secluded, very beautiful 2.2-mile loop. And there's petroglyphs there as well, and in some cases some very striking, very vivid petroglyphs. And then the other petroglyph viewing site is 6.5 miles from the visitor center here, and that's called Piedras Marcadas, and that's it's about a 1.5 mile trail, and it has the highest concentration in sheer numbers of petroglyphs. There's just a ton of really good petroglyphs there. So all 3 sites are a little different, but they're all really rich. There's a lot to see there, and even for us as rangers, we go there a lot, and you can go back and see different petroglyphs that you somehow missed, or just learn more about the area. A lot of people, even people that live here in the Southwest, have not really seen a petroglyph, and you could come here and in a very short time see some really striking petroglyphs.
Well, on the trails itself, it's pretty flat and you can wear comfortable clothes. But if you are going to go up into the mountain, into the rocks to take pictures or get a closer look at the petroglyphs, make sure you're wearing hiking boots. If you come in the summer, only go in the early morning. It gets way too hot in the afternoon. Right now, we're in the middle of the day in December, and it's just perfect. So really a good time to go. Hope you have a good time in the petroglyphs like we did.
So the majority of our petroglyphs, we believe, were carved when the ancient Pueblo people were settled permanently along the Rio Grande River, and there are different plants up here, and I mentioned the grinding slicks a moment ago, and so perhaps they were well, we know that they were gathering different medicinal plants that perhaps they couldn't find down by the river. There was also hunting up here. We believe there were some game up here that they were hunting, and there was a historical, actually, incidentally, the what we call the escarpment, which is the volcanic escarpment where those basalt boulders then tumble down through erosion, and that's where the ancient people carved the petroglyphs. That those are actually it's a really wonderful habitat for different types of squirrels and rabbits, and so there were a lot of game and in fact still today there's a lot of wildlife throughout the escarpment, and so that was attracting them.
So we're at the top of Boca Negra, the top of the trail. It's quite a climb, but there are stairs and some handholds. I would suggest not wearing tennis shoes or anything slippery because you are climbing up some rocks. Should be in fairly good shape because we're already a mile high in Albuquerque in elevation, so climbing can be a little bit difficult. But yeah, it's pretty cool up here. You see a lot of petroglyphs along the trail, along the way up, and then you get to the top and you get to see everything from the panorama. You can look all around the volcanoes, the Sandia Mountains, and the entire city. So it's pretty cool. I would suggest everybody give it a shot.
In some cases, the petroglyphs, it's hard to really decipher what it might be. But in other cases, there's a handful, there's a number of symbols that show up not only all along the escarpment, but throughout the Southwest. So although the petroglyphs were carved over a long period of time, it's conceivable that they did have different meanings, perhaps at different times. And they certainly, as you said, unlike hieroglyphics where their images had a specific meaning, petroglyphs, we don't believe were developed in that way.
So we visited Boca Negra in the Petroglyph National Monument, and Kevin and I went up the face climbing. It's kids could do it, but make sure they're wearing really good sturdy footwear. There is some climbing up the side of some rocks. It's not too awfully hard, but I mean, I made it and I'm fine. But if you're not really in good shape, then maybe just take a picture from down where the parking lot is.
It's kind of what we sometimes call the beautiful mystery of the monument, in that there's a lot of unanswered questions really about these petroglyphs. But we know that they took a lot of time and effort to create these petroglyphs, that using stone tools. This was not an easy endeavor that they were doing, removing what we call the dark desert finish, the patina on that basalt stone. They were removing that, and then of course the lighter color, gray color of the stone is what creates the contrast. So they were spending a lot of time and effort creating these petroglyphs. So they obviously had an important cultural and perhaps spiritual meaning for the people that carved them. But people that are looking for an exact, there's a lot of contemporary Pueblo groups that have developed theories on and beliefs on what those symbols mean, and we try to respect all of those beliefs.
So we just had a wonderful day here in Albuquerque at the Petroglyphs National Monument. Got to see a lot of wonderful petroglyphs, feel the spiritual nature of the monument, connect with the history of this place and the Puebloan people who lived here in the Rio Grande Rift area near the volcanoes. So just really amazing. If you are visiting Albuquerque, I would highly suggest you take the opportunity to come out here, see the Visitors Center, go on a hike, see some of the petroglyphs for yourself, and just get a feel for the meditative state that you can enter in, the amazing energy that's in the petroglyph area, in the basalt all around you. I hope that you had a good time watching this video. We had a great time making it, and we'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So there we go. That was our trip to Petroglyphs National Monument. We had a great time making it, as Shelley said in the outro. And after being away from that kind of production, kind of chipping the rust away. So they'll get progressively better as we continue to do this, because I've had to go back and, bring back some memories and do some things. But we've had a lot of fun. Why don't you say hi to everybody while I'm...
Hi, everybody.
No,
So hello to all our friends in the chat room, including Davio22,
we already played songs.
What?
We already played Davio's song. I don't play it again.
Oh, okay. Davio has special music. And
that's for Davio.
We have William and Easy Street and Jaron Muniz from Colorado, Karen Werner, David Dow.
Karen Werner is
Toby Fan's wife.
Right.
Yes. David Dow. We have Glenna Friedman. Zozo Rocks.
Zozo Rocks must be from New Mexico as well.
He or she, I'm not sure which, also said they live near the Nuclear Museum.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yes, they are from here. Sean Martinez, good evening.
This is a city.
Just the facts.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
So, yeah, Sean, I went through Clovis last week on my way to Austin and back again. And I don't remember going through Clovis anytime before that.
Well, not if you head out I-40, you don't hit Clovis. You have to go do that southeast.
But from Albuquerque to Austin, you go through Clovis. Journeyman's here. Hi, guys. Zozo likes the last one mentioned. Which one was the last hike mentioned? Was that Rinaconda?
No. Boca Negra.
Boca Negra?
Yeah.
Was that the last one?
That's the last one we showed on there. Yeah.
That was mentioned, that the ranger talked about.
Oh, no, the last one that he mentioned was Piedras Marcadas.
Oh, that's right, because it was the
so
furthest away.
They all have Spanish names. So the northernmost one is Piedras Marcadas, which is Spanish for marked rocks. And then below that is Boca Negra, which is a Boca Negra Canyon, which is Blackmouth. And you can see as you're driving in on both sides of the canyon is the basalt, which is why they named it Blackmouth. Then the one that's just south of the Visitors Center is Rinconada, which is Spanish for corner. And then, so there are 5 sites in all. The Visitor Center, the 3 that I mentioned, plus the volcanoes. The volcanoes are just the volcanoes. It's a great day hike, but it doesn't have any petroglyphs above it. All the petroglyphs are on what they call the escarpment. And the Visitor Center doesn't have any petroglyphs other than in books that they sell at the Visitor Center. It was funny because Ranger Dave was telling us that people will come to visit and they'll be at their hotel, they'll get an Uber driver, and they'll have the Uber driver drop them off at the Visitor Center. And so they finally had to put up a sign that basically said, if you're coming here by taxi or Uber or other options, don't stop here. If you want to see petroglyphs, go to one of the other locations. So it was kind of interesting with Ranger Dave because... Oh, why don't you go ahead and finish before we start talking?
Oh, all right. So, Sean Martinez.
There's Toby Fan.
Bill Cross from Texas. Yeah, a nice hike up the lava flow, but not for the handicapped. Anybody with wheels, if you're in a wheelchair or if a stroller or something with wheels. I wouldn't try that because you're either climbing through rocks or in the case of... what was the furthest one away?
Boca Negra.
No.
Piedras
Marcadas. In that case, the trail, the dirt is like, that silt.
Very softy sand.
And really hard to push a stroller or ride a bike through there. But there is a bike trail on one side of Boca Negra, I saw. So there is some biking in the area.
There are you see a lot of bikes up at the volcanoes because they have gravel paths that compacted gravel paths all around. So you can actually get to the 3 of the largest volcanoes. There are supposed to be 6 volcanoes up there. When you're driving in from the east, as you come over the rise and you see Albuquerque, if you look off into the distance, you'll see the valley, and then on the far side of the valley, the mesa of the plateau on which the escarpment rests, and you can count the volcanoes that were there once. You can count 5 of them.
Yeah, but there's 3 of them that are close together, and they call them the 3 sisters, right?
Yeah, the 3 sisters.
So K-Pro's here. Hey, Christy.
Hey, K-Pro. Oh. Although what I'm going to have to do is figure out how to combine the Raven's Nest and Cal Lazars so that you get Cal Pro. Pew. Yeah, how do you do that?
You have to just do one after the other. Pew, pew, pew. I have to get the pew, pew, pew. Okay, that's very fitting for today.
Yeah.
I think solstice marks, we don't know. Did you see solstice marks?
We didn't. So here's what's interesting about the petroglyphs. And we'll go ahead and finish and we'll talk more about it.
All right. Journeyman, hi. Karen Werner, happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, too.
And where are we at? David Paisano, Tinkertown Museum in the Sandia Crest area. Tinkertown Museum. Oh, isn't that just before you go head up the mountain?
Yeah, it's right before you head up the mountain.
Towards Madrid.
And it closes during the winter season.
Mm. And Holly Purd. I missed Holly. Okay. And Mitzi. Mitzi's here.
Hi, Mitzi.
Jason Northface. Mark Brown. Oh, we kind of skipped some here. John Werner, Toby Fan. I think I got everybody. Yeah.
So let's go. Let me go back to the petroglyphs for just a minute. It is estimated there are at least 5,000 petroglyphs up in that area. There are probably more outside the park. And they started protecting them in 1990 when the National Monument was formed. Prior to that, people were destroying them, of course, and you know how people are.
Shooting at them. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, one of the things that you discover is that the petroglyphs are very much unlike hieroglyphics. They're not mechanisms of communications like, say, hieroglyphics were. And the distinction I'm trying to make is between what happens at, say, not Mesa Verde, but Chaco Canyon. So at Chaco Canyon, there's a lot of the markings that are made up there that are actually integrated with their beliefs in the solstice, the various solstice, the times of the year, the quarters of the year. There are petroglyphs up there that have the same kind of meaning and substance that the ones at Petroglyph National Monument, but primarily we discovered petroglyphs were basically a form of graffiti. As the Puebloans who were living down in the valley would travel up to the rift, and they believed that's where the spirits were. So they would come up there to communicate with the spirits. They would come up there to collect herbs that they would use for either medicine or in their rituals. So it was a very spiritual thing for them, and a lot of them had meanings, but what they were doing is just painting the rocks effectively with the graffiti of their time. So if you had seen something that, like one of the ones we show in our video, looks effectively like a falling star, like a shooting star. And so that was made by someone who saw a shooting star and decided to draw a graffiti picture of it. And it's made in the, they call it desert veneer. Over the years, the basalt was covered with this desert veneer. We talked about this when we were talking about Pilar. And they peck away at it to leave the markings, which is what a pictograph is. A petroglyph. A pictograph is when they used paints. And you do find some of them in the Pueblo area, but not at Petroglyphs National Monument. So we learned a lot about the cultures that brought them up there and why they were there. And it turns out to be mostly a very spiritual place because they were communicating with the people that had preceded them in passing. That's what was going up there. That's what they believed about it. And so they would, tell their own stories about it. That's why they're so different. And they're, you can take the 5,000 petroglyphs and you can say, oh, look, that's a shooting star. That's a shooting star. But every one of them is different. There are no two that we saw, or in either the books that we studied beforehand or that we saw when we were up there, there are no two that are exactly alike. You'll see the snake figure, and each of the snake figures is cut differently into the stone. So it's just a really interesting place to be. Wow.
Hey, John Bobbitt.
John Bobbitt's in the house.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else did I see that was here that I missed? 23 Monarcha.
23 Monarcha.
And
there's Hollies.
There was one that I missed.
Sakar.
Sakar? Yeah. Sakar.
So,
okay.
So we had a good time. I do want to let you know that once we will also put the video by itself without the chat. We'll leave the chat here on A Gypsy's Kiss, but we will put the 9-minute video up on our other channel at Video Tarot LLC. So if you just want to watch the video without all the chat on either side of it, you can do that.
Yeah. So while we were there at the visitor center, not only did we get to interview Ranger Dave, but we also got to see a 20-minute video that was just finished recently that they're very proud of. And it explains a lot about the Petroglyph National Monument, what it's all about. And they interviewed several Native Americans from different tribes, including Jemez,
San Ildefonso, Zia.
Yeah, Zia.
But there was one.
Was there one from Sky City?
No,
Acoma?
from Acoma. That's the one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I remember one of them, and I don't remember which one it was, said he was asked, are we getting this right? Or what we're saying about the petroglyphs and about this area, are we getting it right? And he answered back to them, it doesn't matter what you say because we're all probably wrong. We don't know for sure. So.
And that's why Ranger Dave referred to it as the beautiful mystery of the Petroglyphs National Monument. They can only guess what it was all about. No, there is no definitive answer to any of the questions. It was interesting because I didn't include it in the interview, but one of the questions I asked him was, if I was here for a day and I could only visit one location, which of the 4 locations would I go to see the most petroglyphs? And he basically refused to answer that. He said, I won't answer that. He said, because each one of these places has a different meaning to everyone that visits it. And some petroglyphs you may want to see while others you won't. I mean, you could spend, I'm sure, a lifetime up there.
We didn't actually get to Rinconada.
No, we didn't. Rinconada is the southernmost one. It's the flattest. And it's the 1.5 mile loop. And it has about...
It was a 3 mile loop.
Was it a 3 mile loop? I don't think it was that much.
I don't know. You have to look at the map again.
And then...
But the difference between the two we did go to, the Piedras Macaras and the Boca Negra, was Boca Negra was a you could climb. I mean, it was a climb. I mean, you parked in the parking lot, and then from there you cross the little bridge and you climb up. Whereas
Rinconada is flat. You don't have to climb.
Yeah, and we didn't at the first one. We didn't have to climb. You could just walk on the trail. But if you wanted to get up into the rocks, then you were climbing.
And that's what Kevin did. Kevin found a way to get up into on top of the plateau again. So we were seeing him from down below, and he was noting that there were petroglyphs on the backs of some of the rocks that we were looking at from the wrong side.
Right.
So you'd have to, like I said, you could spend a lifetime up there looking for all the different petroglyphs in the different locations. Now, some of them have been destroyed by humans that didn't have any respect for what it means to be up there. But for the most part, you can go up there and comfortably visit with all, like I said, you could spend a lifetime up there studying those petroglyphs.
Now, in Piedras Macaras, you're right between some houses. I mean,
right.
you park right behind a car wash, and you just walk into a dirt area that's right behind some houses. It's like their backyard there, and then you walk along the trail, and you're up against the the basalt. So you're not out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Guess what? Your phone is going to have connectivity because you're in the city. There's everything around you. So you're not going to get so far out that you're going to be in danger because there's always houses right next to you. So it's kind of nice for that. We saw some people, family going in dressed up really nicely, and I was wondering what they were doing, and then they were being followed by a photographer, so they were going up there to take their Christmas photos apparently.
Right. Yeah,
so.
It's a beautiful location. If you were looking for a location that's really different to take photographs, that would be a great place to go. So I do want to show you saw several clips in all of that footage that first were in slow-mo, and then the others were some selfies that I had Shelley doing while she was traveling up and down the rocks. And I wanted to show you, this is our new toy. This is an Osmo Pocket. It's a 4K stabilized camera. Let me turn it on here.
How much was it for parking at Boca Negra?
Boca Negra, I don't know. I have my...
I know, but they did charge, I think it was $3 or $2 on the weekend, or $3 on the weekend.
I didn't even pay attention. I just handed the guy my card.
Like a national park, isn't it?
No, it's... it's a national monument, and it's not as much as it's not the $7 a day that you pay at a national park.
But so there was no charge for parking at the
Rinconada, or the only place they charge is at Boca Negra.
Okay,
that's the only place that charges. So all the others. So this is a 3-axis stabilized gimbal, and as you can see, it's literally about the size of my hand. It has a screen on the back of it. So you don't even need to, you can put your, that's what that attachment for, is attaching your smartphone to it. And it's just amazing. All of the selfies that I had Shelly do were shot with this, and the only thing you have to do to make a selfie is you punch it 3 times.
Punch it?
Well, I don't know if it's
tap it.
And it turns around. And now you have a selfie thing, and it's got a small microphone here, but that microphone is amazing. Now these gimbals are made by the same company that makes the drones, one of which I have, the Mavic drone. It's made by a company called DJI, and they just announced this about, I don't know, about a month and a half ago. And all the YouTubers who are, the hot YouTubers had it. I ordered this one at the end of December, and I got it Saturday, which was enough time for us to be able to use it on Sunday. But let me show you the difference. So I've always had, as long as there have been handheld gimbals, I've had one. I had the first Osmo, and this is the Osmo 2, right? So this was up until the Osmo Pocket, the Osmo 2 was the state of the art in terms of handheld stabilizers, and you can see the difference in size. So they're just amazing. So this one's probably, I don't know, a kilogram.
It's a lot more noticeable too. When we were using this little one, nobody even paid any attention to what we were doing.
Yeah. So it's very cool. We'll be using more of it. I was very pleased. It shoots 4K, and it shoots 4K at 60 frames, or it shoots 1080p at 120 frames, which gives you that. I don't know whether you noticed that very good slow.
How much was the Pocket?
The Pocket was $349. You can get it from DJI. The waiting time is about a month. If you go to the DJI store and order it, it takes about a month before you can get it, because that's how back ordered they are. This, when I bought this is, like I said, the Osmo 2. And when I bought it, it was $650, which was pretty good. And over there sits a Feiyu A2000 which is the big gimbal for my DSLR. But the results with this were just really amazing. We'll be using more of that.
So Toby's getting lots of fun presents from Santa a little bit early this year.
So one of the things that kept us that while we were focused on building a Gypsy's Kiss is
Santa music.
Oh, we do need some
Jingle
Santa
bells.
music. How about this?
We're only a week away from Christmas.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
So what happened is, when we were building a Gypsy's Kiss, this is we got away from filmmaking because we were doing documentaries. We did a lot of commercial work, and we were doing some narrative work as well. But as we started focusing on building out a Gypsy's Kiss, we kind of got away from it. So it was good to make the decision to get back into it. And Shelley keeps saying, we're not, it's not that we're making any money. Honestly, I've made films.
Taking a lot of time.
I've made films all my life. Well, as long as I was working, and I can't not make films, and so it's kind of fun to get back. And what's even more fun is the technology. In just the past year and a half, like I said, I bought this 2 years ago. This is what's the current state of the art technology, and this one is better by an order of magnitude than this one. So what's cool about it is there's this whole bunch of new technology that's come out, and I get the opportunity to play with it. So there we are.
Yeah, toys for Toby.
Yeah, toys for Toby. It's like the Marines. You remember Toys for Tots? Well, there is.
So if we have any questions this evening, you can give us a call or text us.
Phone lines are open, you can send us a text.
If you have a suggestion for what else you would like to see in the Albuquerque area that we might visit and make a video about, or anything else.
So anyway, we had a good time, and like I said, after this, while this is processing, I'll upload the video, the 9-minute video by itself, up to
Video Tarot.
Is there a Mars rover?
I think they meant your Osmo. Looks like part of the Mars rover.
Oh, the Mars rover, yeah.
No, the big piece.
Oh, this one. Yeah, this one. And it gets even bigger because this part here is how you communicate with it. You put your smartphone on this. So that's the entire package with a smartphone. Now, don't get me wrong. This is one hell of a tool. And what made the... Yeah.
Mine's too big. Not a smartphone 6 Plus, though.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The case.
No, too big.
So the difference between this, the Osmo Plus, and the Osmo One was this had all the features, 4K, and it has a zoom lens on it, a 24 millimeter to 77 millimeter zoom lens. So, but this was pretty much state of the art last year until the Osmo Pocket came out. So
Toby's new best friend.
How can you not just carry this around with you?
It's a stocking stuffer size.
Yeah, it is. I should have thought of that.
$350 prize in your stocking seems a little excessive.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing you end up having to buy for yourself because nobody who would buy you a present is going to spend that much on a present.
Probably not.
I just like that little routine that goes through.
Okay.
And again, what's great is this one needs a smartphone to be able to communicate with it. This one has the screen already on the back. So
it's very cute.
Yep.
And it'll hook up to either an iPhone or an Android. So there you go.
Yeah. Batteries last for 140 minutes. The battery lasts.
Yeah, it was good. We didn't have to worry about batteries.
Yeah, we shot all day with it, huh? Mm-hmm. We shot a lot of footage. You know, whenever you make a video like that, you end up shooting a lot of B-roll. So we did have an interesting situation with Ranger Dave. When I went on Saturday, I did kind of a scouting trip on Saturday. And Ranger Dave, I asked him if he'd be available to do an interview. And he said, yeah, absolutely. And then we got there on Sunday, and he kind of bailed on it and said, let me call my boss and see what he thinks. And so he called his boss, and his boss said, no, we don't want you doing interviews. Who are these people? And so the unfortunate...
They need a media permit.
Yeah. Yeah, that we're going to need a media permit, and then we're going to have a ranger having to guide us. I'm going like, have you seen YouTube? There are 200 videos about your park. That's all we're doing. And so
Toby wouldn't take no for an answer.
I don't take no for an answer. So the mistake that he made is he gave me his boss's home or business card, and it had his cell phone on it. So I went outside and I called his boss, and he goes, "Who is this?" And I said, "This is the guy that you told that couldn't shoot the video." And he said, "What do you want?" Like it was Sunday and he was at home. And I said, "Oh well, when I got your number, I just thought I'd call you at the office." And he goes, "Right, it's Sunday. I'm a Monday through Friday kind of guy." Like. He wasn't happy, but he said, but after talking to him and telling him what we were doing, he said, okay. And Ranger Day was very cooperative. That's how we got him to do the interview. So
yes. And we could not shoot with the drone. Well, we talked about doing it just outside the park, but then what?
So all of the petroglyphs are inside the park, and as you know from our previous shows, you can't launch or land a drone in a national property, national park administered property, including national monuments. But Rinconada, or was it no, not Rinconada, Piedras Marcadas was literally the park was fronted by a parking lot that wasn't in the National Monuments property. So I was thinking about launching the drone from there, shooting over the park, and then coming back. But then as we were talking about it, what I had promised both Ranger Dave and his boss, I promised them that we would send them a link to the video. They not because they needed to check us out, but because they wanted to see it too, that we'd send them a link to the video. And then I thought to myself, well, if they see the drone footage on the video, that's the last time they're ever going to let me into that place. So I'm hoping that...
and since Jason has his tin work for sale...
Oh, that's right. I don't know whether you noticed, but when
I don't want to jeopardize that.
My son has a lot of work in a lot of the local... in the southwestern states national park visitor centers, they carry Jason's tin work, and he goes there regularly to Petroglyphs to do classes. So the last thing we wanted to do was screw that up by flying a drone over the property. So we decided not to, although we had it with us, and that's always just nice to fly a drone, but not to make Rangers mad. Certainly not to make Rangers mad.
Yeah, and it's a national monument, so lots of regulations there.
So Zozo, if you have the proper permits and you're making a documentary, as a matter of fact, there are drone shots in that film. So it was a 20-minute film. I estimated that they spent between, I'm going to say, $150,000 to $200,000 on that 20-minute film. It was very professionally done. Some of their time lapses required being out on a night where not only you were going to time lapse, but you expected the full moon to rise during your time lapse so that you could get literally a rising light on one of the petroglyphs. So it was very professionally done, and they did have drone shots on that. So they since they were paid for it, since they were paid for making it, they were paid by the Park Service to do it. So they got all the necessary permissions, including flying a drone over it. We were someplace else where they told us we couldn't fly a drone, but they had drone shots. Oh, at the Very Large Array. If you look at the Very Large Array, there's a film that they produced that's on YouTube, and there's a lot of drone work in it, close flying drone work in it. And when I talked to them about it, they said, no, we don't allow drones within you can't fly inside the range of the various antennas, but you can fly outside of them. But there were all these basically drones flying alongside the antenna and flying up to measure them and stuff. And that was another one where they had been given permission to do that. And so, they're tough about it, about where we can fly them. I will break the rules. I won't break the rules, but I'll push the rules because, like I said, the rules say you can't launch or land in the park. The rules don't say anything about flying over the park if you're landing or launching someplace else. Launching or landing someplace else. So we've done that before.
But not this time.
But not this time because we didn't want to make Ranger Day was so good about doing the interview, as was his boss. We didn't want to mess that up. So
J&R Vintage Auto Museum would be cool to visit, but there are already many videos online, and they may not let you film.
No, actually, is that the Russell Auto Museum?
No, this is a vintage auto museum.
Well, that's what they do. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the Russell's truck stops, or no, they don't call them truck stops. They call them travel centers. So the Russell's travel centers were established by this gentleman who was once a farmer out near Santa Rosa. And he set up these travel centers, but he had this collection of cars. As he started making money, he had a passion for restoring hot rods. And so each of these locations has a collection, part of his collection, and it makes for this beautiful hot rod museum in each one of them. So I did go there. I stopped there one of the times I was coming through that area from the East Coast. And I walked in, and the guy that was running that particular travel stop was the gentleman's son. And so I started talking to him. I actually did an interview with him, and he let me shoot as much as he wants. If those are the same ones that you're talking about, yeah, they're very open to that. Now, there are a lot of videos, but we're always going to do them so they include interviews and some background stuff, et cetera, et cetera.
We've talked about doing a car show or something, but
yeah,
we'll see.
We get a lot of car shows here in the area. A lot of there's a lot of custom cars in the Albuquerque area, especially the lowriders and the guys that do the restorations. So almost every one of in Espanola, you could go any Good Friday and they're having a car show.
Well, they did the Twinkle Light Parade in Nob Hill, and they had a bunch of. That's where we saw those.
The cars when we went out.
Old
Yeah.
Cars, yeah.
So what was I going to say? Oh, each of the casinos has 2 or 3 car shows a year, and they get a lot of activity.
But that's a casino, and there you are on Indian land again. You can't shoot anything.
Well, I can shoot it because I've shot out at Route 66 and Sandia. I've shot car shows there.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I got that picture that that Dale or Carol Shelby signed Cobra. You probably don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is.
That's okay.
The Cobra is a move in yoga. That's all I know.
The Cobra's
It is.
Okay, guys. No calls, no questions. Unless you have any more questions, we'll call it a night.
Yeah, so if you do have any other suggestions for something to see in Albuquerque that we haven't covered,
yeah,
that you think would be different from what tourists normally would go see. You know, I mean, the tram, everybody goes to see the tram.
That's not much of a story.
Hot air balloons, everybody does that.
So we're eventually gonna go. We will eventually get to Chaco Canyon. We'll eventually get to Mesa Verde. We'll get to all these places that are nearby. Tent Rocks. So we'll get to. We're gonna go down. Come springtime, we're gonna go down to White Sands at the full moon, because you can camp there on nights of the full moon, and that always leads to really interesting photography. So.
Oh.
What?
So. I thought so. J&R Vintage Auto Museum. This is the address. It's in Rio Rancho. I thought it was in Rio Rancho.
Oh, well, that's up.
It's just up the street. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we could go there and see how they feel about a story.
Yeah. Thanks for the suggestion, David.
Yeah, we'll check it out, David. It might be something we could do over the holidays, even.
Maybe, unless they're closed over the holidays. Taco Sal burritos.
Yeah. Tacos.
Who's that? I do want to do a restaurant. We were talking about Garcias because we actually know what does Mia do there?
She's the director of marketing.
Yeah, because we know her. Toby knows her pretty well.
Yeah. She's very good to us. And we actually were going to shoot a video for them for Exhibit. They were one of the Exhibit sponsors. Mm-hmm. And we went and got all the B-roll footage. And then Mia got embarrassed about doing the interview, so we never finished it. So we have all this footage of people making every possible Spanish dish. They do the chili once a year.
We need to use that footage. We should just use that for
something.
Well, we should go eat there.
So we went there.
And then just show them making the food.
The reason it's always been so interesting to me is they're about 2 blocks away from me, and every spring. When do they do the chili? Fall?
Yeah, it's late summer, early fall.
And they have this crew that comes in and they start roasting chili by the pallet load. I mean, they have tons. They have crates full of green chili, and they roast it, and then they take it and they bag it and put it in an instant freezer, and it literally freezes it instantly. And then they take it out as they need it through the rest of the year. So there's only one time that they roast chili, and once a year, and then they make enough chili for the remainder of the year. And we have all that footage, and then we have the footage in the kitchen making tamales and red chili and green chili and big vats full of red chili. I mean, just amazing. So
there, we've got that. Let's do it.
We do it, and then we have the. We were going to do a promotional video for the Rail Runner, and we pitched them on this idea where you would take a train ride, and then you'd have a destination, and the destination we picked was an Italian restaurant in Santa Fe called.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Was it Paisanos? Was that the name? It was something like that.
A couple of years ago.
Anyway, we went and shot all the footage. We showed it to them, and they went like, it's only Albuquerque to Santa Fe. And that's kind of the problem we had.
That's the only place the train goes other than Belen.
Yeah. So, but we have all that footage. We can literally make a video. And then the other footage that we have is the teaching somebody how to... Toby's teaching somebody how to use a metal detector with Shelley as the...
Yeah, that's true. We do that.
So we do have that. So we have some footage that we might be able to put up over the holidays. So
yeah.
Okay, that's all we got.
Next Tuesday is Christmas Day.
So we're going to be together on Christmas Day because Shelley's husband has to work, and we decided we're going to work. I don't know if we're actually going to have a show that night. Maybe we'll just get on.
I don't know if I'll be over in the evening or just in the daytime.
Yeah. Christmas. So it's weird because the next 2 Tuesdays are Christmas and New Year's. So we're trying to decide what to do about those both those days.
And for Toby's 70th birthday, that's going to be in the D.C. area. Virginia.
Who asked about that? Oh yeah. So no, we're not going to do it because we're not going to do them live. So on my birthday, which is January 17th, we're going to be on the East Coast. And with my daughters from out there, because the Boca Raton daughter is going to be in Virginia for a wedding. A friend of hers, she's going to have the baby with her and the hubby. So all the East Coast kids are going to be in one place at one time. So I decided to fly out there, and Shelly decided to go with me. So we're going to go out there for my 70th birthday there. And then the following week, we're coming back. We're coming back on Sunday, and then the following week, we've got a party here planned at my place. So
Toby can't visit Santa because Toby is Santa. That's why he's got to work on Christmas.
So yeah, more birthday pics coming. You're getting lots of birthday pics. So I don't want to get into this whole Christmas thing because it gets uncomfortable for me. So
what are you doing with my headset?
Sorry,
it's attached to my ears.
Okay, sorry. Okay, that's all we got. We had a good time tonight. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your questions.
Yes.
And if you want to see just the video, you don't have to watch all the chat here. You can see it over at Video Tarot LLC. That's VIDEOTERO, LLC. That's our other channel. That was our commercial channel. So you can see it there.
Yeah. And ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
everybody.
Yeah. Wait, let me
Happy
set up
holidays.
the outro.
And somebody said, and I don't remember who now, something about Merry, was Hana Kwanzaa mess.
Yeah.
Hana Kwanzaa mess. AJ Rainville, hey.
Hey, AJ. How are you doing? Tom K. And all the people that came in afterwards.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are glad to see you. If we do not see you on the holidays, have a great holiday season. We'll figure out how to let you know what we're doing one way or the other. And who knows, we might just pop up for what do they call it? A pop-up.
A pop-up.
A pop-up conversation.
And we might do some Christmas caroling for you. We'll sing a little Christmas song. A little Christmas cheer. Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Mm. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah. You all have a good evening. Here's an outro for you, all right? Happy holidays.